Welcome back to the final 10 under 10 podcast of the NFL season. We are in week 18, baby, and we are back at it talking about my 10 favorite plays, all under 10% owned. All under 10% owned, week 18 main slate. Crazy to think that we are already here. It is the last week of the regular season. We are getting into the playoffs, but this article takes a little break until we get back into the regular season just because the slates are so small. It's pretty hard to find anybody that's going to be under 10% owned in the main slates in the wild card weekend and things like that. I'll give you guys some guys that I'm interested in, but you got to be a DFSUpNorth VIP. You can find that in the Discord, or once you become a VIP, you get the cheat sheets, our cores, our GPP plays, things like that. If you're not a DFSUpNorth VIP, we got lots and lots and lots going on here in the next couple of weeks. Golf has started. I got the content up for this week's Century a couple of days ago. We are back at it. I'm going to be writing up my showdown notes as soon as they finish up here tonight. And NFL is going into the playoffs here. We'll still have showdown content, slate content, and things like that. NBA is crushing. The NHL guys are continuing to smash, and soccer is underway as well. So, little recap in the last week. We did all right. We hit 2 of the number 1 plays, right? On Fanduel, we hit Malik Neighbors, who was the number 1 wide receiver, and Tyler Conklin, tight end number 1, over on Draftkings. Had some guys that dudded. Jerome Ford got injured early. Alexander Madison got usurped. I like that word. By Amir Abdullah. Jordan Addison was fine. Jordan Love was kind of trashy against my Vikings. I mean, good for me, whatever. Bryce Young was okay. Dobbs, fine. Downs, the chalk struggled. So, the numbers are a little skewed here by having like such big performances by guys like Malik Neighbors and Tyler Conklin being 7.5x value, maybe the highest I remember from this season. But yeah, it was an okay week, right? You're just trying to find guys that are going to pop off at at times, right? And get you there, especially the low owned guys. So let's get into it this week. Everybody and their mother is going to be playing a backup quarterback this week because it seems like pretty much everyone and their mother is sitting this week. So while people chase guys like maybe a Carson Wentz, who else here is starting this week? We've got guys like I thought I wrote in here a couple of guys who are starting. But yeah, everybody's going to be playing these randos that are just coming. Jimmy G, guys like that. I'm going to go to the guy who's been playing for a couple of weeks now and looking pretty good. Mac Jones is the backup for me this week, right? He takes on a Colts defense that was absolutely destroyed by Drew Lock and Malik Neighbors. I think that Mac Jones and Brian Thomas are as good as those two and can put up a big score here. I think the floor is good. The ceiling's high. This matchup could go well over 45. Neither of these teams has really anything to play for. But outside of all of these guys are looking at the future of their contracts, right? What do they have a place with this team? Things like that. I don't see them sitting guys in this matchup at all. Oh, yeah, there we go. Josh Dobbs, Jimmy G, right? Jones is the guy for me this week. So I love Mac Jones with Brian Thomas. You run it back with Jonathan Taylor. If you need to run it back, I like a Josh Downs to bounce back this week with Joe Flacco. I really like Flacco. I really like this game overall. J.K. Dobbins has an incentive to hit. I think it's $500,000 at 58 yards this week. Raiders. My assumption is that he gets that at least. Smashed against the Pats last week. I mean, smashed. He literally smashed into the line grinded it out for 70 plus yards. I think the incentives drive him here, but this is a spot where the Chargers really don't have anything to play for. They have clinched the playoffs, so they could potentially sit him here, but I think he gets the number and then maybe sits. You're just hoping that at this price he goes for 60 some and a TD, right? A guy that is not due a big bonus here, but his teammate is Jalen McMillan. Everyone and their mother is going to be playing Mike Evans. But Jalen McMillan has 6 TDs in his last 4 games. I get that they're going to try to feed Evans the ball for incentives, but they also need to win here. So super cheap, 5,100, 4.32% owned. I love Jalen McMillan. And obviously, like everyone else in a game where they need to win, we love the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Commanders don't necessarily need to win here, but they could need to win to avoid the Eagles in the first round. Zacchaeus, the tax collector, I was, he popped off 2 weeks ago. They were in the showdown, and I said, man, I just don't see that he's going to continue to smash here. And then he, in fact, did absolutely crush. So right back to him here. I think that there's potential that even if they do rest guys, that Zacchaeus plays anyways, right? He's a guy on a short-term contract that does it, that needs to play for it, right? So they're going to rest guys like McLaurin and play guys like Zacchaeus and mega cheap. 4,500 is a wild price for him on DraftKings, especially considering the ownership as well. Tight end's a wasteland. That could be the name of this article. Tight end is a wasteland. It is every single week. I don't think any of these guys are worth chasing. The higher price guys, maybe a Brock Bowers, but not interested. So it's similar to the Ty Conklin call last week. We're just going to go with the cheaper tight end who's getting a ton of volume, and Noah Fant fits the bill there. 5-ish targets last game, right? Wish he was a touch cheaper than 3,700, but I'm in. Shout out to Bobby. Wow. Who's his tight end? Ooh, Evan Engram. Remember when Evan Engram on the Giants was good. Ooh, Tampa Bay, David Johnson, right? When Bobby won $1 million. And then my boy BM McGeever also in there in the top 10 as well. Switching to FanDuel, let's talk about Joe Flacco, right? Everyone's favorite cheap play last week. He's trending towards lower ownership and an even better matchup. He's mega cheap, not as cheap, but mega cheap on FanDuel. I thought he looked great against the Giants last week. This is another good spot against the Jags defense that's not that good. I love he really connected with Alec Pierce last week, but do not sleep on Josh Downs at low ownership here. You get a correlated leverage because Jonathan Taylor is going to be one of the higher owned players on the slate. Love Flacco, Colts, stacks, run it back with my boy Brian Thomas. Ray Davis, Bills are going to sit the starters for the most part on Sunday. Davis is going to get the majority of the work, I think, over Ty Johnson, because Ty Johnson is going to continue to play that third down back 2-minute drill guy, right? Davis has looked explosive in the limited amount of playing time that he's had. The Pats defense is not going to be able to just stack the box like they did against J.K. Dobbins last week, even with sort of the duds rolling out for the Bills. So I think that Ray Davis has a chance to put up a big score. Also, Amir Abdullah, right? Great. Got all the work last week for the Raiders when I assumed it was going to be Madison. That was it was trending that way, and look what happened. He got 20 carries for 115, 3 receptions. Picked up a foot injury. He missed practice on Wednesday. I haven't seen if he has gone today yet or not, but if he doesn't go, then I think we just straight flip to Madison. The Chargers are a tough matchup. I get it, but on volume alone at that price, I think he can get there. Another guy that I am intrigued in, this is the week of the backup, right? Week 18 is Jalen Naylor. 0.25% owned, 4,900. All the attention is going to be paid to Addison Jefferson in this matchup. The Lions can get gashed by pass catchers, right? 5 last week, 5 receptions, 81 yards, and a TD. I think this game shoots out well over 60 points. The QB trusts him. Darnold has gone to him in big spots all year. I love everything about him. Another former Viking, sensing a trend here, is Adam Thielen. He's been resurgent Bryce Young's favorite target. I get that they're only playing for pride. I think this is a blow-up spot for him as they try to carry some momentum into the offseason. I do think that they are going to try to play as hard as they can here. He seems like he's having fun again on the field. I think that's huge. He's taken on the role of sort of the mentor in the wide receiver room here. But he's been a big time red zone target, getting lots of targets. And I think that Adam Thielen is sort of the cheat guy that gets you there in GPP. So that is what I got for you for the final 10 under 10. And we even got it done in under 10 minutes this week. All right. Use that code UpNorth. It gets you 10% off a VIP membership. I am looking forward to the playoffs here. Oh, also, we got best ball content for the playoffs. One of my favorite things to deep dive into. I know that Bobby and Kev are going to do a pod on that. So you got to be a VIP. You got to check that out. You want all the access to all that. Again, just use that code UpNorth. Like, subscribe. You guys know the drill. Have a great week. Thank you for watching this season. Cheers, everybody. Peace. Skol Vikings.